welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. Thank you for coming back. Have one of my favorite co-hosts back again. Tamzin Hall is here with us from the UK. She snuck us in between a treacherous drive home and an ice storm there in the UK today, and then she had to jump to a coaching call right after recording with us. So it's amazing that she could make time for us. We're going to talk about planning for 2023. We're going to talk about creating a vision board for yourself out of Canva, which is pretty cool. Link to that in the show notes. And we're going to talk about getting feedback from your followers and not just looking at yourself as a source of information for planning, but hearing back from your audience and putting that into practice here on the How to Podcast series. And I love that we have these co-hosted episodes in addition to our regular, smaller, shorter episodes. Gives you variety in what we're doing here on the How to Podcast series. A reminder to jump over to howtopodcast.ca, and over there you're going to find links to things that we talk about on the podcast. You'll find links to the podcast itself, and as well a way to connect with us. And I would love to connect with you. A reminder that we're going to do a Friday morning Zoom call at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Because I work night shift, so I get home in the morning, and we're going to do a call the first Friday of every month. And it's free to sign up. You just need to send me an email, and I'll have links onto all that information. And you can also access all this from the website. I'd love to have you jump in and join us. Come with a question. We're going to talk about a topic for the day. We'll answer some questions and then go around the room and around the Zoom, I guess we would say. And you can talk about your podcast, ask for guests, be a guest. Get support from other podcasters. And if I have one person, like I mentioned before, great. If I have more than one, even better. And again, it's free. Would love to meet with you, no matter where you are in the world. And we've had some people ask, because they're on the other side of the world, we're going to actually create another time to kind of capture that time zone and that amazing group of people as well. So we're still working on it. Love to get your feedback. Let us know. Over to howtopodcast.ca, and we'll meet you there. Here we go with Tamzin Hall on the How to Podcast series. You ready? Here we go. Okay, I have one of my favorite people in the world today here on the How to Podcast series. My co-host is back, and I'm happy. Tamzin Hall. Tamzin?
Hello.
Welcome.
How are you?
Fresh from an ice storm there in the beautiful UK, and you've made time to sneak in here for a quick recording. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, the country is at a standstill because of some ice on the roads.
But you made it safely to where you are. That's great.
Yes.
And you have some time for us, so thank you. How was your holiday season? Any fun things? Any fun stories?
It was absolutely fabulous. I really spent the time, 2 weeks, just downtime. Just spending time with friends and family and really just enjoying Christmas and enjoying seeing people. So I don't think I've really got particularly stories, but it was just so lovely just to rest and relax and have fun. Oh, no, I do have a story. Of course I have a story. So I think I lost every single game of Mario Kart I could have lost. I thought I was good at Mario Kart. I thought I was good at it, but no, apparently not.
I remember teaching my kids when they were little how to play video games, only for them to come back and whoop me as an adult. And I'm like, how did you get so good at this? I taught you how to play this game, and now you are making me look silly. So yeah, it's a very humbling experience. So
it is. It's when my 12-year-old grabs my phone and does something on it that I just had no idea, but sorts something out or creates something or does something. I think, my gosh.
Okay, so yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad to be back with you again. Been having some great feedback from our listeners. They love listening to Tamzin showing up on the show. So thank you for coming back. It's really, really nice of you to do so.
I love being here, and it's so enjoyable as well. So it's great if we're getting great feedback as well. So
okay, all right. So it's the new year. It's 2023. I'm looking towards the new year with some hopes and dreams for what this year might become. I'm sure you have some thoughts for your business and all that. I'm curious to know how you plan for a new year. Does it mean something to you to plan for the new year, or is this just the next month? Like big goals, small goals. There's so much to talk about because I think it could relate to podcasters and how they plan for the year. I want people to be successful this year. I want podcasters to be successful. I want small business people to be successful, coaches to be successful. I'm curious to know and get a little behind the scenes of the Tamzin Hall method of being organized and planning for the future. How do you keep yourself on track? I'm curious, and I have my notes here. I'm going to take notes because when Tamzin shows up, you take notes. That's what I've learned in every episode. So Tamzin, take me behind the curtain, Wizard of Oz style. Take me back behind the curtain, and how do you stay organized and plan for a new year?
Okay. So there's two answers to this question, which you probably are going to think, Tamzin, you're contradicting yourself. Okay. But bear with me. Bear with me. So personally, on a personal level, New Year's resolutions have never worked. I've always been the person that's, I'm going to join a gym, or I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to start eating healthy, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. They've never worked. Never worked for me. So this year I've decided to do something different and just have an intention rather than a New Year's resolution. So my intention is very light. It's all about my health. So my mental health, my body health, and my mind health. So mind health, body health, food health. I think it's probably the easiest way to say it. So all around that. So things like mindfulness, journaling, yoga, cold showers. That's my intention for the year, is to really be more mindful, look after my health, whether that's mind, body, food, health. So, and that's actually seems to be working quite well. I haven't put a strict plan in place because I don't know if this will resonate with anybody. It might resonate with you, Dave, but sometimes if we have these really high expectations and these goals that don't really light us up, or maybe goals that we feel like we should be setting or we should be doing, sometimes they just don't work. And New Year's resolutions, there's some science behind why New Year's resolutions don't work. One of them is that actually, if you start something at the beginning of the year, it might not feel right. Whereas if you start something in April, you might think, spring's here, the daffodils are out, the birds are singing, the lambs are out. Now's the time for me to start to implement some change. So I really feel like it has to feel right and it has to feel aligned. Because if it doesn't feel right and it doesn't feel aligned, it is not going to work. It just isn't going to work. And then we end up beating ourselves up and bringing ourselves down because it's not working. But maybe it just wasn't the right time, the right thing. It's okay. It's okay. It's got to feel right. So that's on a personal level.
Okay.
Business is slightly different because, in fact, I don't even know why. I don't even have a because. For me, it's just slightly different. For me, everything, there's just two very separate things. So for business, I'm very much, okay, the year's coming to an end. I want to reflect. I want to reflect on what has gone really well. What have I achieved? What did I achieve in 2023? How did I feel in 2023? What were my highlights? What were my great bits? Mm-hmm. I don't go to what didn't I do? What didn't I achieve? I don't go to the negative. I stay with the positive.
Okay,
so the
that's
great
good.
bits.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, I'm, as you know, positive psychology. I don't want to look at, some people would say, oh, you have to look at what didn't work so that you know how to move forward. I know what didn't work. I don't need to reflect on it. I'm very, very aware of what didn't happen. So, and I think by looking at the positives, we go into the new year in a positive, I've achieved all of this. That's amazing. I've really achieved. And so I encourage everybody, if you haven't done it now, just sit down. It'll only take you 10 minutes, 15 minutes with a pen, paper, your favourite beverage, in your favourite seat, your favourite place. Just sit down and just write down, what did you achieve last year? Everything. And it might be as simple as I put my first podcast out there.
Yeah.
It might be as simple as I got 10 listeners.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be huge stuff. It can be really small things. Write as much as you can. Think back throughout your year. I had a look at my calendar and I reminded myself what I did every single week. Write it all down, because that will give you the confidence to go into this year thinking, I can do this. I can absolutely achieve it. And then when you set your goals, you say, okay, last year I achieved X, Y, and Z. So I was a feature writer in a magazine last year. Great. This year, I might want to be I might be a feature writer in 2 magazines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not then comparing myself with someone who's feature writing in 10 magazines.
Yes.
I'm just improving on last year for me, what feels right for me. So write down everything that you achieved last year, everything you achieved, and how you felt. And then what you can do, and what I did, is I then, on the next page, what do I want to achieve this year? What are all the things I want to do? Think big, think small, think medium, whatever feels right to you, because this is your journey. This is not someone else's journey. This is not the person that sits next to you's journey. This is not the person that's got 10 million listeners on their podcast. This is your journey. So what do you want to achieve this year? And how do you want to feel this year? Some people have words of the year. I don't know if you've heard about this, Dave. Some people have words of the year. And so by writing down all the things that you want to feel, if you think a word of the year or word of the month might help you, you can get your words from that. And then you're entering the new year or the new month, or you can enter February if you want to do this, for February, with a positive mindset, believing in yourself, knowing that you can achieve, and also you're not comparing yourself with someone else. You're comparing your journey with last year's journey of yours. Mm-hmm. So it helps win-win-win. And
Great
then the final thing
yes,
that I've done.
I love that. I love it. Keep going. I love it.
And then the final thing that I've done is I've created my vision board.
Okay.
So I've got my vision board and I've got all the things on it, and I did it on I don't know if I can say, but I did it on Canva. I did it on Canva, and I've got my vision board. And I did 2 vision boards. I did one vision board for me, and I did one vision board for my business, what I want to achieve. And I have one on my wall up there, and I have the other one on my wall up there. So I can see both of them, and they're very visual. And okay, this is what I want to do this year. If I achieve it, amazing. Last year, did I achieve everything on my vision board? No, I didn't achieve everything on my vision board. Am I okay with that? Yes, absolutely. Because I did achieve so much. And this is my journey. And I'm okay with writing something down and not achieving. Because I know if I hadn't have written it down, I wouldn't have achieved everything that I have achieved.
Nice. Now, I know in Canva, you can actually send a link to the document so people can see what we're talking about. I don't know if that's something you could share, or a version
of course I can share it with you
board. As an example for somebody listening, going, I never thought of Canva for a vision board. But if you can share a link, I will put them in the podcast.
Absolutely.
That would be awesome, because if people can see exactly what we're talking about.
Yes, of course I can.
That would be great.
Yeah, I would love to do that. And then what you then have is a visual. You have all of these positive emotions, all of this positivity running through, all of this self-belief, all of these plans for the new year. And it's really exciting. It's really exciting. And so if ever I have a day where I think, this is hard, this is too much, we all have days like that. I can pull out my journal where I've written all that down, or I can look at my vision boards and I'm inspired again. By me. We all need to be inspired by ourselves.
Nice. Okay, so Tamzin, what about...
That's my tips.
Okay, first of all, if you can answer this question for me, do you consider yourself to be an organized, disciplined person?
Yes, so I wouldn't have completed my degree whilst doing a full-time job, starting a business and having a family if I wasn't organised. So there's some things that I'm really not good at.
Okay.
Organisation and planning is something that I'm definitely up there, organised with. However, a little secret between you and me. If you ever come to my house, don't ever look in my cupboards because they are not organised.
Stay out of the cupboards. Okay. Because I'm wondering, Tamzin, when we talk about planning and goal setting and vision boards, it seems to be a more of a disciplined and organized approach, where if somebody is not disciplined and not organized in general terms, that seems maybe like a high hurdle or wall to climb over to sit down and be disciplined enough to make plans, where they just kind of do life and whatever happens, happens, and I'll get where I get if I get there, right? And so I'm just wondering, how do we include people who don't consider themselves to be organized and disciplined? How do we work towards a goal for the year if we're kind of chaotic and kind of all over the place?
Okay. First of all, if you are chaotic and all over the place, embrace your uniqueness. Please don't think, oh my gosh, I want to be more, I want to be this, I want to be that, I want to be like this person, I want to be like that person. Strive for things that are aligned with you. If you embrace your chaos and that's how you live, and that is not... there's people that are chaotic and it really stresses them out that they're chaotic. There's other people that are chaotic, but that's them. That's how they live and they're happy with that. If you're happy with how you are now and everything's amazing and you don't feel overwhelmed, you don't feel stressed. Okay, we all feel stressed at some point, but you don't feel overly stressed because of it. Stick with it. Just be you. Be you. If your chaos is stressing you out, then absolutely look for ways, and I can share some tips. If we have 100 balls in the air and we're trying to juggle everything, if we don't, and this is for everybody, if we don't take it out of our heads onto paper, our heads are just going to be just so full. There's research that says that if you write things down with a pen and paper, actually writing it down, it's as if you are taking it out of your head and putting it on the paper, and you start to feel better. You will start to feel better if you do that. So if at any point you're thinking, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know how to do what I want to do, I don't know how to achieve it, I don't know where to... Stop all that panic by just grabbing your favourite pen and paper and just writing down everything that's in your head. Everything that you want to achieve. You don't even have to know the how. Just write down what's in your head, because the how will come. The how will come. Mm-hmm. And what I did is I literally wrote down everything that I wanted to do. Dave, you can see me on camera, so you can see that I'm looking for something, yeah. But I'm just going to show you. Yeah. So, and I'm happy to share an element of this with you as well. But what I did is I took all of so this is what I want to achieve in 2023. So I've written it all down.
Wow.
I have very big writing. And then I've color coded it. So I've color coded it into the orange is my business, and the purple is experiences, the green is me, and so I've kind of color coded it into sections. But all it started with was just writing things down, and then what I did was I then took everything that was for my business, so everything that was in orange, I then took it and then rewrote it all down and said, okay, this is what I want to do for the year. Separated it into segments. So, for example, I'll tell you, I've got my coaching business. Within my coaching business, I'm launching a leadership program. I'd like my leadership program to become accredited. I'm launching an online portal. And I've got my coaching, my one-to-one coaching as well. So that all comes under coaching. And then what I've done is I've then taken that and then under my coaching. Oh, and then I'm going one step ahead there, but then I've written down under a page for my coaching business, all the things that I want to achieve are in the blue, and how I'm going to do it is in the pencil. That took weeks to do, but what it did was it's taken it from my head, all these ideas in my head, to what I want to achieve, to the how. But it's very small, simple steps that don't overwhelm me by thinking, this is what I want to do, how am I going to do it all? You just take one element at a time and just take it slowly. Take it slowly. The answers will come.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I set my plan for the year.
I asked if you could take us behind the curtain, and you have. You've taken us there. I love it. It's very kind of you to do that. My big concern, Tamzin, for anyone this year is beginning of the year seems to be a good time to start a podcast. So people are coming out into all the on the online boards and communities asking, how do I do this? And they start, first of all, they go right to microphones and technology and all of that kind of side of it. I don't hear a lot of people talking about the longevity of having a podcast and topics and content for the future. And it seems like many people start a podcast and then abandon it after a few episodes because they've run out of things to say. And I think that kind of goes to what you're talking about, what you've illustrated by showing us how you're organizing your year is I would love to kind of encourage podcasters and content creators on how they can plan their content for the year and have more content than they have time for. Like a well that's full and overflowing with content instead of looking in this empty well and there's nothing there. Right? When it's time to record a podcast.
Yes.
So I'm loving the tools that you're sharing because those are great ways to kind of plan out and say, in April and October and November, I have a plan. I know where I'm going. And somebody described it to me as getting on the bus or the tube. There's always a sign as to where this is going to go to, where your public transportation is taking you. So if you're getting on the right mode of transportation to get to the destination you want to go to. So if it says, downtown London, and then the other one says the outside of London, you want to get on, if you want to go downtown, you want to get on the one that says downtown, right? You want to go downtown
Absolutely.
Abbey or everywhere you want to go, right? You want to go to the place you want to go, right? Yeah. So we need to know that we're getting on the right tool, the right way to get us to the place we want to go. And if you don't know where you want to go, it makes it very hard to get on the right mode of transportation. So I'm just looking for that kind of encouragement for a podcaster to say, here's where I want to go. Here are the steps I think I can take to get there. And for me, then, if it's content, I know that I want to be able to have content every week for 52 weeks. I need 52 content pieces for my year. Right. So there's my goal. Mm-hmm. That's my name on the bus, on the train, on the location. I'm going to get on that because that's going to take me where I want to go. And then I work through the process of coming up with the content. So for you, how do you define the big idea for the year so that you can build the how to get to the big idea for your year? What's your approach to that?
So it is just writing everything down. Writing it all down. And, I gave you a few big ones there, creating my leadership program, having it accredited, having my online portal, having my coaching clients, all of that. Those are big things that require an awful lot of work to get there. Will I achieve it all this year? I don't know. I'll try. If I don't achieve it all this year, I know that I'll definitely achieve it next year because I'll put the wheels in motion this year. And I think you take this, let's take my leadership program. So let's take my leadership program. I know that's the big end goal. How do I then break it down to these small, simple steps? Because saying I'm going to create a 6-month leadership program that's going to take people from here to here, that's huge. That's a huge, I've got 55 modules in it. I know all the content that I want to put in it. I know it's in my mind. How do I get it from in my head to really helping these people become the next generation of leader? How do I do that? If I focus on the end goal, I'm going to be completely rabbit in the headlights. I don't know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But actually, by taking my, okay, that's what I want to achieve. But what's the first thing I need to do? Write down everything that I can help business owners, managers with to become great leaders. Write it all down. And if someone's goal is to have 52 podcasts released, that's an amazing, amazing goal. The first step is, okay, what am I going to talk about? What are the 52 topics that I'm going to talk about? Mm-hmm. Grab your pen and paper, write it down, brainstorm, and then you'll have your 52 topics, and then you can decide, actually, this will flow really nicely if I start with this and I end with this. And this is how it's going to go for my listeners. And then you have your topics. And then, okay, what then do I need to do? Write your first one. Record your first one.
Yeah.
Don't overwhelm yourself by running before you can walk. Just take it one simple step at a time. Because if we go to the 52 episodes, oh my gosh, what platform, what this, what recording, what do I need to buy, what do I need to do, blah, blah, blah. It's too much. Actually, first step, second step, okay, now I've got my content written, now I need to think about where I'm going to host it. Now I'm going to think about, do I need a website? Now I can think about this, but you don't have to think about it all. You can just do it one step at a time.
I love it. Okay, so Tamzin, I'm curious too about feedback from your clients, feedback for podcasters from listeners, polling your audience, asking them maybe like for last year, for 2022, how are things? How is the content serving you? For your clients, what have you learned and gained from my coaching? How important is it for you as a coach to reach out to your audience and give them the chance to give you feedback as part of your planning for the next year and what's coming? Because it's one thing to think about all the things we've done well. It's another thing to have somebody else come into our lives and say, Tamzin, I really like this, but this part didn't serve me. Right? And to get that kind of feedback from our clients and our listeners could shape our future and future plans. So do you have any kind of tools that you use, or do you reach out to your audience, your community, and ask them for feedback?
Yes, so I'm a big fan of feedback. I love it. I think feedback helps us grow. Feedback helps us to become better. It might be hard to hear, and if we have negative feedback, every single human being, first of all, will become defensive, will not like it. Mm-hmm. I ask people for feedback. I'm in a program where I create content and I give it to somebody for them to have a look at it, see if it's good, see if it's bad, see if it's going to be eye-catching. And sometimes I get pretty rubbish feedback. And I've been known to close my laptop, walk away. Well, this is no good. I'm right. She's not right. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She does not know. I know what I'm talking about. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I can't believe I'm not going to do this program. That's it. And then a day later, week later, okay, let me have another look at that feedback. And it's great feedback to take on board. Do I have to listen to it? No, of course I don't have to listen to it. But if I listen to it, is it going to help me grow? Yes, of course it is. So I'm a huge advocate of feedback. I don't ask for feedback at the end of the year. I ask for feedback all the time. So if someone has worked with me for a period of time, I will always send them a feedback form. Would you mind completing this? Do you have any feedback for me? Mm-hmm. Can you give me some feedback? Because I think this, as part of my leadership coaching as well, the best leaders are open, honest, and transparent. And if we wait until the end of the year to say, you did something wrong 6 months ago, well, thanks. I've been doing that wrong for the last 6 months. Why couldn't you have told me at the time? So I think feedback is so important in business, so important on podcasts, so important every single aspect of our lives, because it helps us become better. Ask for it all the time. I always ask for feedback. Have you got some feedback for me? How did that go for you? How did that make you feel? Was that any good? What could I have done better? What could I have done differently? Like I say, sometimes it's going to be hard, and sometimes we all have that reaction when it's negative feedback to be really defensive. That's okay. Let that sit with that for a while. Don't respond. Do not respond. If you get negative feedback, do not respond straight away. Walk away. Go back to it at a later time. I had a friend who owned a pub, and she would get pretty dire feedback. I have to say, the responses that she gave online for everybody to see in response to the feedback was better than a soap. It was fabulous reading. But she reacted so badly, because she was so defensive.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do get negative feedback, accept it, sit with it for a while. And it's okay if you're getting negative feedback. It's not the end of the world. It's going to help you grow. And if you don't agree with it, forget about it and move on. But always ask for feedback. I do it on a Google form. Google Forms. I think it's actually called Google Forms. But there's other forms that you can use. But make it simple. Make it simple for your audience or your clients. Make it simple and easy. You don't want a 50-word questionnaire. Five questions, easy for them to respond. Make it easy for them.
What's one of the questions you love to put on a response that really helps you?
So for my coaching, I would say, how did I help you? And how did I not help you? Because, and I think I probably use a bit more fancy words than that, but I want to know how I help them to move forward, how I help them to change, what difference we made together. But I also want to know what didn't work. Because we all love those shiny, glowing reports, but actually, what didn't I do helps me to do it for further clients. It might be hard to read, but I always ask that. What could I have done better? How didn't I support you? What didn't I do?
And celebrate the people that respond, because there's a fraction of your audience, of your community, right? That were brave enough, felt they could speak to you and respond. There's a whole part of your community that are silent, but they're there. But they also have an opinion, and sometimes the people who respond speak for a wider majority. So, yes, it might not be the most entertaining and fun thing to read, but at the same time, there might be some truths hidden in there that could be easily fixed and increase your audience just by listening.
Absolutely.
And giving credit for the people who respond.
What do you do?
That's the thing I'm working on this year, is because most of my podcasts are relatively new, is like I put on my website that you can leave me voice messages, and people have been doing that, which I'm thankful for. I turn that into content and make it all about the person who's responded to kind of increase them and give them, attention for their podcast, whatever they're working on. I loved that kind of feedback, but a formal document online is something actually I'm working on, and why I wanted to talk to you today, because I think you have a very structured and disciplined approach to how you do business. So I come to this episode to learn from you, Tamzin, because you have the tools and the experience to help us all. So I appreciate it.
Oh, well, I appreciate you, Dave. Thank you. And I appreciate everybody listening. But I do think feedback is really important. It is really important, as is everything that we've spoken about today. But don't forget, it's what feels right for you and what feels for anyone that's listening. If it doesn't feel right, it isn't going to come across right. So if it's, you think, I don't want to use a Google form. I don't want voice notes. I want this. Go with that. Go with what feels right for you. But do ask for feedback, because that is a great way, and ask your audience. It's a great way to move your business forward. Another aspect is market research. Now, that isn't really part of what we're talking about today, but asking your audience what else they want to see from you. What do they want you to talk about? What do they need from you? How can you help them? Market research is a great way to understand your audience, understand their needs, and help you to grow as well. So market research can be in the form of a Google form, can be a quick 15-minute chat. Somebody, I don't normally, no, in fact, I do a lot of market research because I know how important it is. But I can remember scrolling through Facebook one day and somebody was offering chocolate in return for doing some market research. Well, I jumped at it. Chocolate? You got me on chocolate. What can I do? Anything at all. I'm yours.
I love it. It's great. So Tamzin, I know you have to jump to a call, which I'm so thankful you were able to squeeze us in today between all the busyness that you've organized and planned for. But you're jumping to a call soon. Let us know where we connect with you again, Tamzin. We'll put it all in the show notes, but I'd like to hear it as well. How do people connect with you?
Okay, so I'm Tamzin Hall Coaching. So my website is tamzinhallcoaching.co.uk, and I'm on Instagram, Tamzin_Hall_coaching.
Beautiful. And you have to go see Tamzin. And you can tell a good coach, because a coach has to jump from a podcast episode to a coaching call. That's a coach you want to talk to. You don't want to talk to a coach who has no clients, has no prospects, is sitting there staring at going, why? Where is everybody? This is a coach you need to talk to because she's busy. That's a good sign. Thank you, Tamzin. The one thing I want to leave everybody with today is you don't have to be great to start your podcast, your content, your coaching. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. There we go. Thank you, Tamzin.
Thank you.